Hey, what's up guys, it's LegoHobo910 here with another LEGO video, and in this video I'm reviewing set number 76131, the Avengers Endgame Avengers Compound Battle. So let's get right into the review. So before we get to the main structure build, first there are these two little vehicles which are kind of weird and I feel like a dumb addition to the set, as they only, take away pieces and price that could be put into the main compound build, and they're really unnecessary and I feel like they don't add anything to the set. So we're going to start with the slightly smaller vehicle, this little Jeep here. It looks nice, but once again, it doesn't add to the set. It just has one little seat in there, and then there's also a little turret on the back with the control panel, and that can tilt. It's just a stud shooter with two gray studs, and this set comes with a whole stack of gunmetal gray studs here for all the stud shooters around here. They're meant to represent, like actual bullet shooting. And then there's two stickered Avengers logos on either side. I also like the shaping of that. That just looks very nice. Same with on the front here, as well as the front grille. Then there's these two little wings here, which once again I kind of like the look of. So let's set that aside. And we'll look at the helicopter here, which I feel like is an even dumber addition, because the Jeep I'm mildly fine with. Like if you grab, say, a Captain America from another set, he would fit right in there perfectly. But, the helicopters are just weird. And also the front looks odd because they put this 6 stud shooter on the front, which you just spin to, fire them off, right? But, it completely loses all shape and it just looks weird and blocky. There's another nice Avengers sticker back there, and I also like how they did the tail fins here. It's very different than what they normally do. Then on the back there's a couple clips for a weapon for whoever's driving it, and then a fire extinguisher like it's in every Marvel set now. And then also, my other main complaint with this is the way the canopy looks here. It's just this tiny little thing. Look at how open it is. There's nothing on the sides, and half of the top isn't covered. But that just folds up to reveal another stickered console and a little seat. But yeah, I think these vehicles are a really unnecessary and weird addition, especially the helicopter. Jeep I don't mind so much. I still think it's weird. So now let's just go look at the main build of the set. So here is the main build of the set, which I think looks pretty cool. It's a bit small once again because a lot of parts were resorted to those vehicles. So it definitely could have been bigger if they didn't make the freaking vehicles. As you can tell, I don't like those very much. But since we started with the vehicles, I say we start with the garage side here. It has this one radar dish here, which I think looks pretty nice. And then I actually like this system a lot here, where this flips up. It's not too rigid, so it can, still be kind of fairly free moving. It's just on a gray Technic pin. Then you can pop that up, and then this is just, one of these normal garage doors. You see them a lot, especially in fire sets, where they have the firehouse. And this can just roll on out. And I actually like that system a lot. I think that works pretty well. Just two stickers down there for kind of a metal pattern. And then up here we have two more little turrets here. They only angle up that much, so they just shoot down, which I think actually works fairly well, considering these are meant to, kind of be point defense type cannons. And then on top, we have where the helicopter's supposed to sit, and that actually locks in there pretty well because of the positioning of these. And there's a big Avengers sticker there, and I actually really like that panel. I feel like people are going to be able to use that for all sorts of things in the future. But once again, why do we need the helipad? Why do we need the helicopter? But I do like that sticker a lot. Now let's go down into the garage. It's fairly simple. I do like the kind of window pattern there. I like the way that looks. There's also a door which can, of course, open. And then just a little tool rack here, with then the bridge connecting them in the middle. So now let's go across that bridge to the other side. I actually really like the way this side looks. It has a lot of very interesting shaping, and in my opinion, I just think it looks very nice. I especially like the little bits of dark blue sprinkled in throughout. I just think it's a nice color scheme. So now let's start at the bottom here. There's a little door here, which once again can be opened. I like when they include a little tile on the end here, so that way you can more easily grab it with just like your fingernail, instead of having to go all the way around and just push to open it. And they also have a little panel here with a pretty generic printed piece there that's in all sorts of sets. This is just kind of, like a keypad in order to get in. Then we can turn it around to get to the inside here. And down here there's a little rotating console here with a generic printed keyboard piece, and then that sticker there, I'll just pop this out, with the Infinity Gauntlet, and this can move back and forward. It can't move too much. It's using a book cover piece, which I think is a pretty interesting use to create a thin little screen. I think the way that looks is very, very good. Then moving over here, we have kind of the main part of the lower build, where there's this little hand scanner. As you can see, they have like a minifig hand on there, which I think is pretty clever and looks nice. And then in here we have this little laser system, which can be brought down, and inside there's the Infinity Gauntlet, but that's really hard to get at. In fact, it's not even possible. You can't lift it up enough to get it out. So on the side here, they've included a little action feature with this. You can just pull this part of the build out. I have a problem where whenever I do it, I end up knocking this off. Yeah, you can pull that out either to just, get it out yourself, or to imagine Thanos is coming and taking it. We'll look more at the gauntlet when we look at the minifigures. And now let's move up to the top floor. So this is my favorite room in the whole set. It's the conference room here. Just a few chairs and then a table here. It's very simple, but also has a very, very nice effect. I especially like the fact that they chose to make the table round. And then also all these cups and bottles here look very nice. In the center there is a little printed circular tile with the Avengers logo. And that's used in a lot of sets. This wave, it came in the Captain America bike set. It also came in that one promotional Avengers Tower set that they had. And then the top of this can just pop off to reveal a little hidden compartment with a couple of guns. Which really doesn't make sense for any of the heroes in the set, except for maybe Nebula. But I think it's a nice addition anyway, because they could have just, put 4 of these around. Just had a fixed table, but I think it was nice that they decided to put something there. And then there's just these chairs around, which can be easily popped out if you want to rearrange them or move them. And there actually isn't enough room for most of the Avengers in this set to sit, so I'll plop them in there so you can see what that looks like. So as you can see, it's very easy to fit 4 of the 5 Avengers in this set at the one table. And also the tabletop being removable makes it very easy to put them in there. The one problem is seating Hulk in there. The best way I've found is kind of like sit him on the roof like this. But that's not very stable and is also very hard to do. And definitely takes a while to kind of get him up there. Yeah, I can't do it that easily. So you can fit almost all of the Avengers in there fairly easily. And then one last feature there is a little rotating door. You can just set a minifig on there, and then rotate it in order to bring them out to this walkway. I actually really like this walkway, as simple as it is. I feel like it adds a lot, so that way, the 2 sides actually feel connected. And also, it's not too shallow. I originally thought it was just going to be like 2 studs deep, and you really weren't going to be able to fit many minifigs up there. But it's actually fairly wide, and you can, take an Outrider, fit him there, take a hero here, fit them there, and still have plenty of space. That's definitely a great space in the set. Before we move on, one last thing. There's this little turret up here, which I actually really like. I like the way it's built here, using this shield piece that was introduced for some First Order troopers, I believe. And it just spins around, and it has a couple spring-loaded shooters. It does, of course, give you an extra missile for that. And then also, there's quite a bit of roof detailing here, like with these kind of little vents, and then there's another one of those printed tiles that I mentioned earlier. Before we actually move on to minifigs, I want to take a quick look at some of these accessories for Captain Marvel. They are built out of those same, flame packs that we get in a lot of sets, this time in orange. It's just a pretty simple build here for her to be kind of flying on them. Pretty similar to the Firefly jetpack build from that one DC mech set. Then she has these 2 blasts with the different size kind of dishes on them. And there's just a couple, orange cones and studs with holes in there to connect them. And then there's also, these always come in a pack. You can't just have one without the other, so then there's also these 2. And 2 of these here as well, as things that you can use. You can rebuild those and reconnect them however you want. Or you could just, use these separately to kind of be like her powering up or having a big flame punch type thing. These ones I feel are a bit less useful. You could obviously, just like attach them like that maybe. But they aren't as useful unless you build them up with some of the other pieces. And then also, Iron Man here has a couple transparent blue cylinders. I always like when they include these, and it's been a while since I've seen one included in a set. So that way, you can just have them flying a bit. And then he has two of these Power Blast pieces, which you just, push and they launch off. These are starting to become kind of a older thing. They're still not old, but they used to be fairly new. Yeah, I really like these Power Blasts in general. Sometimes they don't work the best like that, and that's also partly user error. There we go, we got a good one. So yeah, now we have all of those things removed for when we look at the minifig. Here are 3 of the 5 heroes in the set. We have Captain Marvel, Nebula, and then also a micro-figure Ant-Man. We'll start at Captain Marvel here. She's just the same as the one in the Captain Marvel set. I think they should have done an updated hairpiece because I don't think that hairpiece fit in the first place. And then also, minor scene spoiler, I guess, she has a different haircut in Endgame. The suit still looks good there. There's a lot of intricate detailing there that you can only see when the light shines on it correctly, like some of those dark navy lines. And then it just kind of continues around the back. I wish they would have done some printing on the legs, or at least double molded them blue and red, kind of like they do for Spider-Man sometimes. And then there's the face, which I don't think was a good choice of face because I don't feel like the expressions fit her, especially this one. This one works kind of, but the other one doesn't. Then we have Nebula here, who's wearing the same Quantum Realm suit as she does as all the Avengers in Quantum Realm suits have. That doesn't make it any worse, though. I really like the printing there, like you can see all the kind of tiny little dots on the metallic parts to get that kind of metallic weave look. And also all the little dark gray and bits that here and there. It looks very good. Just gets very repetitive. And also I like the head print. Sadly, they still can't print all the way around the head, or else it would be pretty perfect. Still looks very nice, though. Then we have micro-figure Ant-Man here. I like when they do Ant-Man as a micro-figure like they did in that one Civil War set. It's always very nice. As you can see, he's just wearing the Quantum Realm suit here. It's very hard to focus on him there. But I think he looks very nice. And also, they always include an extra micro-figure, so you actually get 2 of these guys, which is awesome. Because then when you have them, big spoilers for Endgame here, but then again, if you haven't seen it by this point, what are you doing with your life? Where they shrink down into the Quantum Realm. And they're all, wearing their quantum suits. You can use these guys if you ever want to recreate that. So now let's move on to some of the other heroes. Here is the Mark 85, which I think looks fantastic. I've also grabbed the Mark 50 from another set here to compare. Because originally I thought they were just going to use the same torso and legs for them as, the Mark 50, Mark 85 is basically the Mark 50 but with golden arms. But it actually is slightly different. If you look at the torso prints there, you can see that one has a bit more light red on it, whereas this doesn't have as much. Also, you can see those bigger bits up there. This has them down there. There's also just little bits here and there. This has a few more, sharp little pointy bits. This is just a couple longer ones. So it is actually different. The legs are more easily noticeable with, those big gold patches, which that doesn't have. Then clearly the biggest difference is just the golden arms. Really like the way the 85 looks. Definitely stands out. And then the helmet, though, is the same. Just, flips up like normal. That's what it looks like flipped up. He has 2 heads. This is the same as the Mark 50, the head and the helmet, though. Where you have the one where he has the HUD, and then one where he doesn't. And I'll just put the helmet on there so you get an idea of what that looks like framed by the helmet. I definitely really, really like the Mark 85. I think it looks amazing. Possibly one of my favorite Iron Man figures that I own. He just looks great, and I also like, all the gold. It definitely makes him pop from the rest, which are mostly red with a bit of gold. The fact that, this has full golden pieces that aren't just the mask. So here's the Hulk Big Fig, who's a pretty standard Big Fig, but I definitely like the way he looks there. He has the dark blue pants there, which actually have the slightest bit of printing on them if you look there. Slightest bit of black, which really isn't that easy to see, but it definitely, it's good that they put the thought in there, putting some printing. It's a lot easier to see in real life than on camera. I also like the face print there with the little smile. And then the hair is actually pretty nice. It's very textured, as you can see. It's not just a flat hair piece. And then, of course, he just has, the normal Big Fig posability where the arms can swing back and forth and the hands can rotate. And that's it for the posability. He's a pretty standard Big Fig, but I definitely like the way he looks. And it's also good to get, another just regular Hulk Big Fig, because the last time we did was in the Age of Ultron sets. Because in Thor Ragnarok, they just gave us Gladiator Hulk, and then, you really didn't see Hulk except for that one scene in Infinity War, but they didn't include him in any Infinity War sets other than as Bruce Banner. So it's nice to actually get a Hulk Big Fig. Now we have the baddies of this set. We have, of course, Thanos, and then also an Outrider, and this is just the same as all the other Outriders in the Endgame sets and the Avengers sets. Of course, the same as the ones that have the 6 arms, not any of the special claws or anything. Doesn't make them any worse, though, and they're definitely a massable figure, so I'm fine with getting a lot of them. I'll take off this pack so we can look at the back printing. So that's just what the back printing looks like. They're still very high quality figures, and I definitely like the printing on them, even though they're very redundant and repetitive. So now let's look at the arguably more exciting figure, Thanos here. Another Big Fig. It's the same mold that they've used for the Infinity War Thanos, as well as the one in the first version of Thanos in that one comic book set a while ago. I wish they would have made a new mold for him, though, to have Thanos without his armor. Since even though he wears his armor more in Endgame, they didn't include a no armor mold in Infinity War, so I wish they would have given us a no armor mold. I like how they printed on the arms, though. Since this is the armored Thanos, they're going full armor by printing on the arms. I think it would have worked better if they actually, gave him gold arms instead of just having it printed on there. But I think the printing does look very nice. And also the printing on the front is fantastic. And then the printing on the helmet is very similar, if not exactly the same, to the Endgame Thanos, Infinity War Thanos. There's no printing on the back, however. And then he just comes with this big hammer weapon here, which can spin mostly just because the way it's built is not very secure there. I wish they would have given us the double-bladed sword that he has in Endgame instead of this weird hammer, which is definitely an odd build and an odd weapon for Thanos. I think it looks nice, but I prefer the double-bladed sword. And one last thing you can do with Thanos here is take off his hands, take the Infinity Gauntlet that we looked at earlier, and slap it on there. And that definitely looks very nice. And they only included 2 of the Infinity Stones in the set here instead of all 6, which I actually think is a very good idea. Bought all the Infinity War sets to collect all the Infinity Stones. It makes us a bit mad that we spent over $300 to get all the Infinity Stones, and then people could just buy this $100 set to get all of them in one bang. So I'm fine with them, only including 2 in the set. In fact, I think it was a good decision. The Time and the Power Stone, I think, are fine, because it would have looked weird if they chose, 1 here and then 1 all the way across. So I think it's fine that they chose those 2. Personally, I think Power and Space would have worked better, so you would have had the first 2 stones he collected in Infinity War. And also, since, the Time Stone was the... Then again, I see why they did the Time Stone, because it's the most expensive to get in the Infinity War wave. So for those who couldn't have gotten it, they would have included it. Don't see why they would have done the Power with it, though. But I don't know, I'm just happy that they didn't include all of them in this one set. I definitely like this set, even though I do have many complaints with it, such as, these kind of weird, useless vehicles. And also, I think the price is a little hefty for $100. I can see why it's $100. If you look at the price per piece, it should be about $60, but then again, the set also has lots of very, very large panel pieces and large plate pieces. So I can see why it's higher. And also the fact that it includes a couple big figs definitely bumps the price up. But I still don't think it should be $100. I think like $80 or $90 would be a fine price. I think $100 is pushing it a bit, though. Definitely wish that I would have had to pay less for this. Still think it's a good set and will go nicely next to my Sanctum Sanctorum and Spider-Man bridge battle. But I just wish it was a little less expensive. Definitely probably my favorite part of the set is the minifig selection. I think it's a great selection of minifigs, and the fact that they chose to update Thanos instead of just having him the same as the Infinity War one. I like the inclusion of a Hulk big fig. The Mark 85 is beautiful. You can never have too many Outriders, as they're just a very massable infantry figure. The micro figure is great. These two are the ones that I like the least, but not to say they're bad figures, just I'm getting a bit tired of the Quantum Realm suits, and also I already have that exact version of Captain Marvel. Still think it's a great set. That's all for me for now, and bye.